Ladies and gentlemen, you are requested to kindly find your seats.
Minister the lion and tie it out. Well, that's I shall have to try it.
But you see, it is important not how we build the thing. The difference is all in the chimney and how you count loud, slow.
Well, if you think you would enjoy it, please do. It is only for...
Good evening, sir. This way, please.
My apologies.
I guess my mother was working for many years. He has a very good
Evening, Haytham.
Reginald?
I can't tell you how happy I was to hear they'd mounted this revival. Gay's best work by far. Have you seen it before?
The priest calls the lawyer a cheat. The lawyer believes the divine. And the statesman, because he's so great, thinks he's trade as
Once,
as
my father brought me here as a child. Though I remember little of it. I don't suppose tonight will afford me the luxury of a proper viewing either.
honest employment. So is mine. Like me too, he acts in a double capacity, both against roads and for them.
No, I'm afraid it won't.
Protect and encourage cheats, since we live by them.
So, Blackmore...
On to business, then.
Trial comes on in the afternoon,
Do you see him?
And she hopes you will order matters so as to bring her off.
As the wench is very active and industrious, you may satisfy her that I'll soften the evidence.
Tom Gagg, sir, is found guilty.
A lazy dog! When I took him the time before, I told him what would come to if he did not mend his hand. This is death without reprieve. I may venture to book you. For Tom Gagg, £40. Let Betty Sly know I'll save her from the transportation, or I can get more by her staying in England.
Betty hath brought more goods into our lock year than any five of the gang. And in truth, 'tis a pity to lose so good a customer.
If none of the gang take her off, she may, in the common course of business, live her 12 months longer. I love to let women escape. A good sportsman always lets the end partridges fly, because the breed of the game depends on them. Besides, here the law allows us no reward. There's nothing to be got by the death of women, except our wives.
Without dispute, she is a fine woman. 'Twas to her I was obliged for my education. And to say a bold word, She hath trained up more young fellows to the business than the gaming table.
Truly, Filch, thy observation is right. We and the surgeons are more beholden to women than all the professions besides.
Sir, Black Mall hath sent word of trial comes on in the afternoon, and she hopes you will order matters so as to bring her off.
As the wench is very active and industrious, you may satisfy her that I'll soften the evidence.
Tom Gag, sir, is found guilty.
A lazy dog! When I took him the time before, I told him what it would come to if he did not mend his hand. This is death without reprieve. I may venture to book him. For Tom Gag, £40. Let Betty Sly know I'll save her from the transportation, or I can get more by her staying in England.
Betty hath brought more goods into our locked year than any five of the gang. And in truth, 'tis a pity to lose so good a customer.
If none of the gang take her off, she may, in the common course of business...
He's seated in
live
one
at
of the
12
boxes
months
above.
longer. I love to let
The
women
stairs are
stay.
watched.
A good sport
You'll need to
will
find another
always
way
let
up.
the end partridges fly, because the breed of the game depends on them. Besides, here the law allows us no reward. There's nothing to be got by the death of women.
I already
Except my
have.
wife.
Without dispute, she is a fine woman. 'Twas to her I was obliged for my education. And to say a bold word, she hath trained up more young fellows to the business than the gaming table.
Truly, Filch, thy observation is right. We and the surgeons are more beholden to women than all the professions besides.
Sir, Black Mall hath sent word of trial comes on in the afternoon, and she hopes you will order matters so as to bring her off.
As the wench is very active and industrious, you may satisfy her that I'll soften the evidence.
Tom Gag, sir, is found guilty.
A lazy dog! When I took him the time before, I told him what it would come to. if he
1,000
did not mend
pardons.
his hand. This is death without reprieve.
My apologies.
For Tom
So
Gag,
sorry.
£40. Let Betty Sly know I'll save her from the transportation, so I can get more by her staying in England.
Betty hath brought more goods into our locked year than any five of the gang. And in truth, 'tis a pity to lose so good a customer.
If none of the gang take her off, she may, in the common course of business, live at 12 months longer. I love to let women escape. A good sportsman always lets the end partridges fly, because the breed of the game depends on it. Besides, here the law allows us no reward. There's nothing to be got by the death of women, except our wives.
Without dispute, she is a fine woman. 'Twas to her I was obliged for my education. And to say a bold word, she hath trained up more young fellows to the business than the gaming table.
Truly, Filch, thy observation is right. We and the surgeons are more beholden to women than all the professions besides.
Sir, Black Mall hath sent word of trial comes on in the afternoon, and she hopes you will order matters so as to bring her off.
As the wench is very active and industrious, you may satisfy her that I'll soften the evidence.
Tom Gag, sir, is found guilty.
A lazy dog! When I took him the time before, I told him what it would come to if he did not mend his hand. This is death without reprieve. I may venture to book him. For Tom Gag, £40. Let Betty Sly know I'll save her from the transportation, or I can get more by her staying in England.
Betty hath brought more goods into our locked year than any five of the gang. And in truth, 'tis a pity to lose so good a customer.
If none of the gang take her off, she may, in the common course of business, live at 12 months longer. I love to let women escape.
Ha!
A good sportsman always let me escape.
'Tis woman that seduces all mankind, like where we first were taught our evening hours. A very nice beauty when the falls. She tricks us of our money with her heart. And it's woman that seduces all mankind, like where we first were taught our evening
Rope's causing what do you pay? What are they paying you for? What do you want to see?
For the pins?
Yes, sir.
But make haste and you get boy, and let me friends know what I intend. Well, I love to make them easy one way or other.
When a gentleman is long kept in suspense, penitence may break his spirit ever after. Besides, certainty gives a man a good air upon his trial, and makes him risk another without fear or scruple. But all away, for 'tis a pleasure to be the messenger of comfort to friends in affliction.
But 'tis now high time to look about me for a decent execution against next session. I ain't a lazy rogue by whom one can get named. And let me friends know what I intend. Well, I love to make them easy one way or other.
When a gentleman is long kept in suspense, penitence may break his spirit ever after. Besides, certainty gives a man a good air upon his trial, and makes him risk another without fear or scruple. But all away, for 'tis a pleasure to be the messenger of comfort to friends in affliction.
But 'tis now high time to look about me for a decent execution against next session. I ain't a lazy rogue by whom one can get nothing till he's hanged. A register of the gang. Crook-fingered Jack. A year and a half in the service. Let me see how much the stock owes to his inch. 3, 4, 5 gold watches. And 7 silver ones. A mighty clean-handed fellow. 16 snuff boxes. 5 of them true gold. 6 dozen of handkerchiefs. 4 silver hilted swords, half a dozen of shirts, 3 tie periwigs, and a piece of broadcloth.
I've got a bit of stage
Considering
fright.
these are only the fruits of his leisure
little
hours,
Dutch courage
I
up the
don't
bloom
know
in
a
your
prettier
cheek.
fellow. But no man alive hath a more engaging presence of mind upon the road. Wat Dreary, alias Brown Will, an irregular dog, who has an underhanded way of disposing of his goods. I'll try him only for a session or 2 longer upon his good behaviour. Harry Paddington, a poor petty larceny rascal, without the least genius. That fellow, though he were to live these 6 months, will never come to the gallows for any credit. Slippery Sam, he goes off next sessions. For the villain hath the impudence to have views of following his trade as a tailor, which he calls an honest employment. Matt of the Mint, listed not above a month ago. A promising fellow and diligent in his way. Somewhat too bold and hasty, and may raise good contributions upon the public if he does not cut himself short by murder. Tom Tipple, a guzzling,
Jeremy's
soaking
really
sot,
burning up the
who's
boards
always too
tonight.
drunk to stand himself or to make others stand. A cot is absolutely necessary for him.
He's a marvel.
Robbing a bag shot, alias Gorgon, alias Bluff Bob, alias Carbuncle, alias Bob Booty.
What a Bob Booty husband! I hope nothing bad has betided him. You know, my dear, he's a favourite customer of mine. 'Twas he made me a present of this ring.
I've set his name down in the blacklist. That's all, my dear. He spends his life among women, and as soon as his money's gone, one or other of the ladies will hang him for the reward. And there's £40 lost to us forever.
You know, my dear, I never meddle in matters of death. I always leave those affairs to you. Women indeed are bitter bad judges in these cases, for they are so partial to the brave that they think every man handsome who's going to the camp or the gallows.
But make haste and you get, boy. And if your friends know what I intend. For I love to make them easy one way or other.
When a gentleman is long kept in suspense, penitence may break his spirit ever after.